Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Mental Game Podcast. I'm your host, Nick O'Martha, and you're probably wondering, where am I? Well, I'm actually at a hotel room, as today, as everyone knows, is Christmas Day. So, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'm flying off to Dubai today to see my family, and yeah, that's the story. I hope everyone else is having a good Christmas, filled with fun stuff to do, and also a good Happy New Year where you guys will have a prosperous and successful 2026. And that sort of connects me to what I want to speak to you guys about today. And it's all about resolutions. Now, I want to talk about resolutions as I'm going to start doing this, and it's something I've learned that is very important for achieving goals and also looking back at the year in a more reflective sense. So in today's episode we're going to be talking about resolutions and what questions to ask whenever you're in the process of creating these resolutions or these New Year resolutions or whatever time period you're looking at. So let's get kick-started. So first I'd like to define what is a resolution. And this is a question I was asking myself yesterday, and it was quite hard understanding what a resolution is. Now, I'm not really into literature or I'm not sort of a dictionary here, but I like creating my own definitions and putting definitions to words in my own sense. I'm going to tell you guys what I think a resolution is, or a New Year's resolution is. Resolution, well, when I think of resolution, actually sort of solving a problem. What is a solution to a problem? A resolution. What was a resolution to that problem, right? What was that solution? In another sense, I also look at resolution, New Year's, and more particularly New Year's resolutions as a time when you can sort of look back and initiate a sense of self-reflection. And you guys are probably wondering, what is self-reflection? Well, self-reflection is the act of evaluating oneself. It's the act of evaluating oneself. And what does that even mean? Well, that means looking back at the specific time period and understanding what has been achieved and so on, and also evaluating your emotions and being fully aware of how you felt on a deeper level. And that's quite the definition there. It's just a sense of self-reflection and looking back at things, reflecting on oneself essentially. I just had a problem even defining self-reflection right there, because self-reflection could include a number of things. It can include a number of different questions and analysis of oneself. So what is self-reflection, and how does that associate with resolutions? So in order to further deep dive into what self-reflection is and how to initiate the best level of self-reflection, I decided to put down a few questions which I'm going to ask myself at the end of a specific time period. In this case, I'm going to ask myself these questions at the end of 2025, entering 2026, essentially New Year's resolutions. I'm going to ask myself these specific questions, and these questions are to initiate a sense of self-reflection, okay? So let's get kick-started. The first question is, what have I achieved? Well, I'm going to be asking myself this question, and I'm going to explain the reason why. So what have I achieved? What have I achieved essentially pinpoints your small and big wins. What small wins have you gathered across the year? What big wins have you gathered across the year? And from identifying these small and big wins, you essentially pinpoint what you have done well, that has resulted in these events being wins. What have you done well? What successes, what actions, what things have you done in order for that specific thing to be a win? And also, you can identify improvements. Next time around, how can I do this thing better or that thing better in order to make this a bigger win in the future? So that's a sense of self-reflection, looking at the pros, looking at the cons, looking at what you did well, what you didn't do well, the improvements, the failures, and it's essentially looking at two sides of the argument. And the power of doing this is that when you look back, you essentially learn or understand yourself better, and you also understand what things have you achieved, sort of providing you a sense of motivation and a sense of gratitude in a way. And also it gives you the capability to do better next time around. And it essentially gives you a leverage to learn about yourself and also learn about the future essentially and what you can implement later on. So that's one question. What have I achieved? Identifying the small wins and big wins, identifying what you did well and what you could do better next time around. So now let's talk about the second question. The second question is, what have I learned? What have I learned across the year? What have I learned during a specific time period? So this could be a number of different things, and the learnings could be small or big. The magnitude could differ, and it's totally up to you. It could be as big as learning a language. It could be as small as learning how to draw something or do something. It could be learning how to maintain a relationship within a friendship or a romantic sense. It could be a number of different things. And by identifying what you've learned, you essentially initiate that growth mindset, because you start to put yourself in that frame of mind that what you were once not good at, you can now be good at. You can and it gives you that sense that things can be developed, capabilities and skills and knowledge can be developed. And it's so important to rewire your brain in that way. Having read this book about the growth mindset, it's so important to know that capabilities, skills, and who you are can change. It can change with effort and time and motivation. And by pinpointing your learnings, you can say, yes, there's been times during the year when I wasn't too good at, for example, drawing. But now I'm kind of proficient at that. Why? Because I put in time and effort. And I had motivation. So it's so important to give yourself that sense of, right, things can change. I can grow with initiative, I can grow with time, I can grow with effort. And it's so important to put yourself in that growth mindset. Now let's talk about the last question I'm going to ask myself. So the last question is going to be, what do I want to achieve in 2026? What do I want to achieve the next time around? What do I want to achieve the next time period? And this is a super important last question, because essentially it creates a goal-oriented mission. It creates a sense of direction and reassures you, or gives you that sense of purpose that, yes, I want to do this. And by asking yourself that question, you should also deep dive into the following brackets that include how are you going to achieve that, when are you going to achieve that, why are you going to achieve that, what is that you're going to achieve, and where are you going to implement that in your life. And it's so important you touch upon those 5 brackets, the 5 W's, because they quantify that goal. They quantify that goal and it gives you a sense of reassurance, or not even reassurance, it gives you that methodology to achieve those goals. So just to reiterate, the importance of asking this question is to create a goal-oriented mission with focus, with drive, and with an understanding of what you really want in life. And that could be amazing. It could be an amazing feeling, because when you have a sense of direction, you know your priorities, you know your self-worth, you know your boundaries, you know who you are, and you prioritize things which really are going to benefit you to achieving those goals. Now I'm going to give you a few examples to answering these questions, because some examples could help you guys answer the questions for you. Okay, let's get into it. So the first question is, what have I achieved? I'm going to give you a question. At the start of 2025, I don't think I was as good at communicating with other people. Now, at the end of 2025, I think that I've developed the capability to communicate with a number of people in a more proficient sense. And this could include in a corporate environment, and it can also include in a maybe academic environment, and you're also in a friendship and family sense. I've learned how to communicate better. I now understand the importance of communication and how to communicate in a more effective manner. And that's what I think that's a pretty big win, to be honest. And it's already putting me in that sort of gratitude sense and understanding, right, I know I do have these capabilities, and I've achieved quite a bit, and it motivates me to keep going. Okay, that's the answer to the first one. Let's look at the second one. What have I learned? Well, okay, I've learned quite a bit. I've learned a lot. I've learned the importance of a good organization, and that means a good business to join. I've learned how to ensure that or how to distinguish between a friendship and a romantic relationship. I've understood the importance of surrounding yourself around the right people. I've understood the importance of dieting and fitness. I've understood the importance of taking care of your well-being. And look how many things I'm learning. And rest assured, I don't even think I was that proficient at these things at the start of the year. For example, at the start of the year, I don't think I was that good at taking care of my well-being. I never had this podcast. I never journaled. I never read books. I never really did any of this, but now I've learned the importance of doing this, and I've developed into a person which takes care of myself. And it's so cool because, in the past, and I thought I could never change. I was a stuck one person with these set capabilities, and that being, I was not too confident. I didn't have a self-esteem. I was not able to communicate. I was not the person I wanted to be, and I could never change. I always used to tell myself that. But now this just proves the point that, oh my lord, I can change. I can become a better communicator. I can improve my self-esteem. I can become more confident and and accept myself in different realms. It's capable, and I'm giving myself the sense that it is capable. I'm capable of change through time, effort, and motivation. I'm gonna give another example here. No example, I'm going to answer the last question here. That is, what do I want to achieve in 2026? God, I love this question. I hope you guys too, because it just gives me that spine-tingling moment. That stuff is going to be achieved, and I'm going to be the person I want to be. So on. So I like to segregate the things I want to do in two parts: career and also personal life. I'm going to maybe touch upon personal life. In a personal life sense, I want to know how to differentiate between a relationship and a friendship and a romantic relationship. This year, more particularly during these few months, I think I was not too capable of doing that. I got the two mixed up, and that sort of created a sense of tension in my life, which I didn't really like. And I think I want to I want to get better at that. And I've already ruled down a few things that I'm going to do in order to get better at that. That is being maybe, reading some articles. I think articles online are a great resource, especially from people who have experienced the same thing. And I want to learn a bit more on how to maintain those boundaries and also establish that, a way of distinguishing between a friendship and a romantic relationship. So I'm going to read articles, I may buy a book as well. I'm going to go that right. I'm going to go quite far with this. I'm also going to ask different people, maybe the people I know who have relationships, and how they have actually built upon that in a specific time period. That's what I'm going to do in my personal life, and that's just one thing. And the second thing for my career, I'm going to keep my mind open. I want to keep my mind open, especially to my career. I'm working upon that because sometimes my mind can narrow and create a tunnel vision, which is a good thing, but also at the age I'm currently at, which is 21, and I need to keep my options open, especially when I'm trying to find graduate positions, I'm trying to find what jobs I want to do, and so on. I need to get as much experience as possible because it's going to build my portfolio and also give me an idea into what I want to do in the future. So that's one thing. I want to keep my options open by applying to a number of different jobs. It could be a multitude of different jobs. It could be product manager, it could be a software engineer, it could be a data scientist, it could be a project manager, it could be so much stuff. I'm going to keep my options open and get as much experience as possible. And that's my career thing. I think that's how I'm going to do it. And those are just two examples. I can go on and on. I love talking about it because already it's just making me motivated that I have a good life ahead. I have something good to look forward to. And that's the end of this podcast episode. I would actually like you guys to answer 3 questions. And these are the 3 questions. What have I achieved? What have I learned? What do I want to achieve in the next time period? In this case, maybe 2026. I want you guys to answer those questions. Put them down on paper. And tell me how you felt after answering them and whether you felt motivated and eager to achieve what you want to achieve. Well, thank you guys. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. You guys got this. And yeah, see you next year. I don't think I'm going to upload anything this year now. But next year, I'm looking forward to maybe expanding the podcast a bit more and making it a bit more elaborate by getting more people to come on this podcast. And also, I aim to make more series, more different kinds of videos, and so on. So, thank you guys for 2025. I really appreciate it. And this is an appreciation post. I'm so grateful for it. Because despite, even if the support is not too big, small, I don't really care. I'm just happy you guys are tuning in, joining the journey of self-development, knowing the importance of working on your well-being. I'm really happy that you guys are joining this journey along with me. Thank you guys. And I will put out an appreciation post, which I'm really grateful for. Thank you guys, and see you.